I have always loved romantic comedies. You name it, and I've either seen it or I own the DVD. Yes, I realize in our very digital world, there's no need to have DVDs, but I can't help it. I love to look at them all standing at attention, waiting to be picked. You've got Mail, Under the Tuscan Sun, Pretty Woman, Love Actually, Something's Gotta Give, While You're Sleeping. Yes, living amongst cynic, this makes me somewhat of an anomaly, but I can't help who I am. And let me tell you, I know the plot structure of all good rom-coms, and I've always been ready for one in my life. There's the first meeting, which can often be a meet-cute where the two main characters dislike each other. One of the characters is usually pining after someone else. These two main characters at first seem like polar opposites, but are usually forced together in some way, and eventually understand that this original issue / self-loathing wasn't an issue at all, but was love. Yes, I'm embarrassed to admit that I tried to create these rom-com scenarios in my own life, but without much success. I was constantly trying to drop things in front of men in grocery stores who either ignored me, looked at me strangely, or ran off. Or at that bookshop asking questions about how the business was doing. And if the bookshop owner was trying to fight off developers, I'm pretty sure every contrived situation I threw myself into just ended up making me look like a fool. What is really funny is that, and I speak here from experience, when you're having your rom-com moment, trust me, you will not know. So let me walk you through my situation. I work for a nonprofit where we partner with corporate organizations to build desalination plants for communities without proper access to water. I've always been the #1 fundraiser and have been really good at coming up with creative ways to work with our corporate partners. Not trying to brag, but my manager Louisa always expresses pride to our board about what an amazing job I do, and it's something that defines me. I was absolutely crushing it at my job when Lisa told me that they were bringing on another corporate liaison. It was immediately suspicious, especially when I learned that this person had always been the top performer at one of our competitors. Louisa had been working for months to recruit him, and I was not consulted at all. His name was Luke. I tried to keep an open mind, but Luke showed up and had a lot of ideas. He talked a lot about all of the work he'd done in his previous role. I immediately thought he was a blowhard who was arrogant and loved the sound of his own voice a little too much. I was dismissive of him and decided to let him prove himself or self-destruct trying to do so. I was really annoyed at Louisa for bringing him on. Yes, we needed more money than ever as some of our corporate partnerships were coming to an end, but did we need the self-important, pompous fool ruining our company relationships with his hubris? Yes, you see where this is going. My boyfriend Charlie, whom I'd met in the most un-rom-com way on a dating app, definitely got tired of me bitching and moaning about Luke the Great and put a moratorium of discussing work whenever we were together, which pretty much meant I had nothing to talk about. This also became handy for Charlie, who surreptitiously dumped me for one of his co-workers within a month of Luke joining our organization. I, of course, was totally devastated and tried everything in my power for a couple of months to get Charlie back. I won't give you the entire laundry list of things I tried, but yes, there were poems. Yes, I may have held a vintage boombox above my head playing our song. Yes, I may have slept on his doorstep. I'm not saying I'm proud of those actions, and I'm not saying they worked. They didn't. So about a month into my depression over Charlie, Louisa broke her foot chasing after her toddler. She was supposed to go to Nicaragua for the groundbreaking of our latest project. She couldn't go traipsing through the jungle, and my Spanish wasn't good enough to go alone. Luke, who spoke Spanish fluently, didn't really understand the project, so of course we were sent together. I didn't want to go. Even though I was so proud of our work, I was still at the stage where I wanted to dive headfirst into a gallon of ice cream and hide under my bed covers on account of Charlie. But I went, I rolling over Luke the whole way. We even had a confrontation waiting for our driver in Managua. Luke asking me what my problem was. Me telling him that he was way too cocky and needed to tone it down a bit. He told me that I had a major princess complex and needed to get over myself. Ladies and gentlemen, we have all of our elements. We have the people who meet dislike of each other. They misunderstand each other. One of them is pining for someone else. One of them is nursing a heartbreak, but that won't prevent her general loathing and annoyance with the other main character. Now, we just need the catalyst that brings them together. Luke and I orchestrated the entire event. Community members, some of our board members, and our corporate sponsors were all in attendance. We conducted the groundbreaking ceremony in both English and Spanish, Luke and I alternating as we spoke. Everything went surprisingly well. The board congratulated us, so we went off afterwards to a backpacker bar to have some beers and celebrate our success. I brought us some beers in the fairly empty bar. I could ask for dos cervezas, por favor, and as I was headed back to the table, I noticed a man talking to Luke. Luke's face grew more pale as I walked towards him, and as I rounded a table, a ray of sunlight sunlight through the dingy window caught something shiny. The man was holding a knife in front of Luke. One thing I've neglected to mention thus far is that I am a black belt in Taekwondo. I set the beers down quietly, took a deep breath, and drop-kicked the knife out of the man's hand. The thief turned around, ready to fight, only to find me standing there. He tried to lunge towards me, and I flipped him on his back while Luke got the knife and held it up. The thief scurried off across the linoleum floor and ran as fast as he could out the door. I shrugged my shoulders at Luke, who was looking at me in absolute awe. I blushed and smiled at him, picked up my beer, and took a swig. Yes, it was the ultimate rom-com, and let's face it, sort of action hero moment. Of course, one of my favorite things in the whole world is to tell everyone the story of how we met, how we didn't click, and then how we fell in love. A true rom-com moment, if ever there was one.